Welcome to Tirumala Vaibhavam YouTube channel. Today we will dive into another spiritual story. Do subscribe and like the video for more such deep spiritual content.
Welcome! Today we're journeying deep into the heart of the Bhagavad Gita, to Chapter 17. We're going to explore a really timeless question about our actions and our beliefs. This chapter, it opens the door to understanding not just what we do, but the invisible forces that shape why we do it. So, it all starts with this profound question from the warrior Arjuna to his guide Krishna, right there on the battlefield. And it's a question that honestly still hits home today. What's the deal with a faith that doesn't follow the rule book? Is it valid? This one simple question sets the stage for a huge revelation about how our inner world, our very nature, shapes every single thing about our lives. Now, Krishna's answer, it isn't a simple yes or no. Oh no. Instead, he lays out this universal framework. You could almost think of it as a kind of spiritual physics that governs our consciousness. He explains that all faith is colored, so to speak, by one of three fundamental qualities of nature. He introduces what are called the three gunas, or modes of material nature. And a great way to think about them is like three primary colors that mix together to create the entire spectrum of human experience. So first you have sattva. That's the mode of goodness, purity, and knowledge. Then there's rajas, the mode of passion, action, ambition. And finally, you've got tamas, the mode of ignorance, laziness, and delusion. All of our faith, and by extension, all of our actions, are filtered through one of these qualities.
So let's dive into this because this ancient framework is just brilliant at illustrating our modern lives. Krishna shows that these modes aren't just some abstract philosophical ideas, they show up in our most basic everyday choices. They're like these invisible threads that weave the very fabric of our reality, starting with something as fundamental as the food we choose to eat.
According to the Gita, what you like to eat is a direct reflection of your inner state. Foods in the mode of goodness, or Sattvic foods, are things that are pure, juicy, and nourishing. They help you live longer, they give you strength and health. Now, foods in the mode of passion, Rajasic, are the ones that are super bitter, sour, salty, or hot. They cause agitation and pain and can lead to disease. And then you have Tamasic foods, things that are stale, tasteless, or impure. These are said to just dull your consciousness and make you feel sluggish. So the choice isn't just about taste, it's about what you're literally building your consciousness with.
And this whole framework, it goes way beyond what we eat. Let's see how it applies to another really key concept, tapas, or austerity. Now, don't let that word scare you. This isn't about punishment or just denying yourself for no reason. It's a form of powerful, voluntary discipline. You see, austerity is really about making our actions more conscious and more effective through intentional restraint. It's just like how exercising your body makes it stronger. Practicing this kind of discipline in our actions, our words, and our thoughts, it purifies and empowers them, helping us reach for a higher purpose. So Krishna breaks this powerful practice down into three really distinct practical areas where we can all apply it. There's the discipline of the body, which involves stuff like showing respect and being nonviolent, but then it goes even deeper into the more subtle parts of our lives, our speech, and even our thoughts. Okay, let's look at the austerity of speech. This is beautiful. Krishna lays out 4 qualities for how we should communicate. Our words should be truthful, but also pleasing. They should be beneficial, and this is crucial, they must be non-agitating. It's really the art of being both sensible, appealing to the intellect, and sensitive, appealing to the heart. It's about learning to speak in a way that actually uplifts people rather than disturbing them.
But here's the thing. While we can learn to control our bodies and maybe even silence our mouths, Krishna points out that the real work, the true austerity, is found in calming the constant noise inside our own heads. We might be sitting there silently on the outside, but internally our minds can be a raging storm of anger or judgment or just dissatisfaction.
And check out this analogy on the slide, it's just perfect. It so perfectly captures how this mental dissatisfaction just robs us of the joy in what we already have. Our minds are constantly pulled toward what we don't have, to what someone else has. And this restless outward focus, it turns the sweetness of our own lives into chalk, leaving us feeling constantly unfulfilled. And you know what? This ancient insight is, wow, it's startlingly modern. It perfectly describes the engine of our entire consumer economy. Advertising thrives on creating that sense of lack, on making us feel that what we have isn't enough, that we need that next, newer, better thing to finally be happy.
So the austerity of the mind, then, is this revolutionary act of cultivating gratitude and focusing on the abundance that's already right in front of us. Okay, so this same principle of inner quality, of sattva, rajas, and tamas, it applies directly to another fundamental human action, the act of giving, or what's known in Sanskrit as dana, or charity. So what's the best way to give? Well, the highest form of charity, the sattvic form, is when it's given simply because it is the right thing to do, period. It's an act of duty, done without any thought of getting something back. No personal gain, no fame, no reward. It's offered with respect, at the proper time and place, to someone who is truly deserving. It's pure, unconditional giving. Now, charity in the mode of passion is a totally different story. It's basically transactional. This is when you give with an expectation of a return, whether that's public recognition, a tax break, or a favor down the road. It's often done reluctantly, and it's driven by ego and the hope of a personal reward. And then you have charity in the mode of ignorance. This is where giving becomes careless and, frankly, often harmful. It's giving done at the wrong place or the wrong time, maybe with disrespect or to someone who doesn't deserve it. It's an action that's completely detached from wisdom and consideration. And that distinction leads us to a really critical and, honestly, challenging question. Can an action that seems so good on the surface, like giving charity, actually cause harm? What happens when our good intentions get filtered through ignorance and lead to bad outcomes? Krishna actually warns about this very thing, a kind of harm-causing charity. For example, giving money to a person struggling with addiction might feel like the compassionate thing to do, but it could just be enabling their destructive behavior. And on a larger scale, the sources suggest that even well-intentioned social policies can sometimes have unintended negative consequences, creating dependency instead of empowerment, or weakening the family structures that are often the most natural and effective support system. Now, the point isn't to condemn helping people, but to emphasize that true charity has to be guided by wisdom and a clear understanding of the long-term effects. Okay, so we've looked at our food, our discipline, and our charity through this powerful lens of the three gunas. So what's the ultimate lesson? What's the big takeaway? Where does all of this lead us? And here it is. The crucial point is this. It's not just what we do, but the inner state, the consciousness, the faith, the intention from which we act that truly defines our reality. The exact same act of giving can be an expression of pure duty, or a transaction of the ego, or a careless mistake, and the result of each one is profoundly different. And this brilliantly shows that our deepest beliefs, our inherent nature, they are the true architects of our destiny. The gunas shape our faith, and that faith in turn shapes our actions, our relationships, and ultimately the very world we see and create around us. In the end, we are what our faith is. So this whole exploration of Chapter 17 leaves us with one final profound question. We've seen how these three modes color every single aspect of our lives. But is it possible to transcend them? Can we move beyond the constant push and pull of goodness, passion, and ignorance to act from a place of pure, untainted consciousness? That very question is what sets the stage for the ultimate teachings on liberation that we'll find in Chapter 18.
That was today's story. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more such interesting stories. Let's connect with another story. Till then, stay blessed.